Hello everyone, welcome to girlsgames.com, and today we're taking a look at Magical Diary Horse Hall. It's a visual novel where you play a young woman who's just been accepted to a boarding school for magical people, so witches and wizards. So it's a lot like Harry Potter, but also kind of different in some respects. As you can see here, you can customize her. I'm gonna go with. I generally try to make my avatars look a lot like me. I don't really tend to go for the overtly fantastical. That's just me though. You can go with whatever. Alright, so got all that done. And you can also add other stuff, like accessories and such, in the game later. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and kind of speed through all the intro text and summarize as much as I can because don't have a lot of time. I have too much time. I'm just gonna go through the first week in the game. So right now the character's recounting some stuff. She found out she could use magic when she was 13. Given a choice, she chose to be magical, and 3 years later is now going to her first year at Iris boarding school. And it's also been accepted into one of the hallways, Horse Hall, which again, it's like the houses in Harry Potter, but they don't really compete, and you don't get sorted. It's just okay, this is the house you're in, or the hall you're in, and there's been students it's been known for students to sometimes change halls depending on things that happen. And here's one of the characters. Here, this is Professor Grabiner. As you can tell, he's supposed to be kind of like Snape. It's not, like I said, does not hide that it's based on Harry Potter. He's also one of the love interests / friendship interests. He's one of the characters whose routes you can go along throughout the game. But I found him a pretty compelling character. He's a lot more compelling than Snape, I found. So, this is another one of the characters whose route you could go on. This is a roommate, Ellen Middleton. She's also a wild seed, like us, like me, or like the character. Basically means that from a non-magical family, and you got magic. And this is the other roommate, Virginia. Also got a route for her. And she's from a magical family, so you get more from there. Okay, just talking about gym stuff. Virginia wants to start a sports team. All right, now we got the option to meet her brothers. So let's go meet them. Okay. And this is next interest. That's Donald. He's Virginia's brother. Also tends to be kind of a prankster. That's his roommate. I believe it's Luke. I get it mixed up because he has a twin brother named Logan, and it's easy to mix them up. So, them being typical siblings. Here's her other brother, William, who she gets along with more. No, he is not romanceable. It's not gonna happen. They're just talking. There's also another option. If you press the tab button, it goes through very fast. So for students, and this is Professor Potsdam. She's the headmistress of the school. She also teaches some of the classes. And yeah, she's kind of similar to Dumbledore in that respect. So, okay, go through. Once it gets to classes, I'm going to try to just use the tab button to speed through. Okay, so overview of the stuff here. So, good, and classes. So, these are the types of magic you could use. Red magic is the destructive type. Think of calling fire, lightning, wind, all that stuff. Blue magic is for transformation. It also can be used for illusions. And also teleportation. And green magic is life magic, so you can use it to heal, but you can also use it to diagnose something or anything regarding nature, pretty much. Black magic is anything involving the physical objects, so you can enchant something, you can change its form, that sort of thing. And then white magic deals with the mind and spirits. And it's kind of recommended you can do however you want for each magic. You can choose to specialize in one. However, it's highly recommend you try to go to the first class for each type of magic. So let's do that now. Also, I'm throwing in gym because that's going to be something important. More explanation on this stuff. So we also got a few other. So aside from learning the magic classes, you also got 3 other options. You could go to gym, which will raise your strong. That's basically your health meter. Though in the first half of the game, you don't really need that much health. There's nothing in the dungeons yet at that time that's gonna try to kill you. And anything that could do a lot of damage is just all or nothing. Like there's one point where you have to jump a gap, where you have to go across a gap somehow. So you don't have to worry too much about strong at this point. Smart is, you can also study, which raises your smart. That's how, and depending on your smart score, it determines how many spells you can cast, because each spell has a different number of points. Then we got cute and weird, which are mostly flavor. It's supposed to be how students perceive you, and they're both self-explanatory. Both of them also need to be brought up to a certain point to unlock certain routes. For instance, Virginia, if you want to go down her route, you need to get her weird. You need to focus on increasing your weird. And those can be increased sometimes through basic interactions, or through getting items from the store. And then finally, there's also sleep. If you notice here, we've got a stress bar, which increases as you take classes, and sometimes if in certain events. And the higher the stress goes, the more likely it is you're going to fail a class. So don't want that to happen. So if it starts to get pretty high, like I'd say around 20 or so, try to find some time to rest in the week. Try to find a time to sleep. Then there's merits, which is kind of your standing in the school. As you notice, it's -10 because Professor Grabiner wasn't too keen on me bumping into him, so he gave a -10. And if it gets to -50, then you're expelled from school. And that's not something you want to happen. The good news is there are plenty of opportunities to get merits. Sometimes you can get them from completing an exam very well. You can also lose merits if you fail an exam. But as long as you have a basic grasp of magic and take enough classes, it shouldn't happen too much. Also, if you befriend Donald, he might give opportunities to earn merits. So there's that. Finally, there's money. Gonna have to be the bearer of bad news. The only way you can get money is a weekly allowance, and you get $5 each week. Later on, you can participate in bingo. If you're friends with Donald, you can participate in bingo. However, it's not the best source of income, and I've found that I tend to lose more than I gain whenever playing bingo. So that's pretty much all you got for allowance. Now that said, this is the schedule. I'm going to cut back around gym because that's we're gonna meet the last one of the last 2 route options, Damien. So real quick, see you then. Oh, I also forgot to mention there's sometimes events that will come up depending on what you do. So right now it's me and Ellen talking about magic. Also want to decorate the ceiling. Decided to do illusions. Now here's one of the ways you can increase your cute and weird. So I'm going to say something interesting. And that makes me seem a bit more weird. My keyboard's being a pain, so I'll just gotta click through. See you there. Alright, so this is the last option. This is Damien. He's a senior in Falcon Hall. And as you can tell, he's not exactly human. As I said, he's a route option. He's romance only. Some of the other characters you can be friends with. Donald you can be friends with. Grabiner you can be friends with. Virginia and Ellen, I haven't tried to be just friends with either of them, so I'm not too sure. And to unlock his route, you need to get your cute up. So, just gonna speed through. He basically gives a warning. He also gives the advice to take out the first for each class. Talking about Salem witch trials. Alright, another event. Ellen's going through some of Virginia's stuff. Just going to ask what she's doing. Virginia comes in and finds out that Ellen's been tidying stuff. Not too crazy about trying to keep tidy. Alright. So on Saturdays you have two options. You can go to the mall, or you can stay at school. If you stay at school, you can go to the library and study. Later on, when Minnie starts offering help, you can also use it to raise your magic. But for now, we're just going to go to the mall. Alright, so I have 4 different options at the mall. You can go to the magic store, which is where you can buy items. They can increase your stats over here. But we're not going to do that. That's something else I found. If you use the mouse wheel and roll it, you can go backwards or forward. So that's good. Alright, so the other options, you can go window shopping, which raises stress a little. You can also go to the food court. And you can buy food or no food. Then these raise your stress in different ways. And I think the more you spend on food, the more stress you'll lose. There's also the games arcade. And similarly, you can play games here you can play pinball to decrease your stress. You can play dance games to gain strong. Or you can you can just watch to lose stress, or you can try your luck at the claw machine. I should say though, the claw machine, it's very difficult to gain anything. You try to get a rabbit plushie. Very difficult to do that. But you have to do it, you might have to play it at some point for the last character route, who I'm going to introduce to now by doing pinball. This is Big Steve. He's a senior from Toad Hall. And his route's kind of one of the more difficult ones because it's more of a secret route. So, do that. And Sundays you get events. So here we see Virginia and another girl named Pastel talking about something that we don't know about. And it's also here you can check your inventory. So if you buy anything from the magic store, you can equip them here. You can also read over your diary, over everything that you've learned, you've gone through the last week, talking about events. And once you start to unlock spells by getting enough points in these categories, you'll also be able to take a look at your spells. So that's about it for the game. So I was just going, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, the story's the biggest part, and sadly I couldn't go too much to detail, otherwise it would take way too long. But it's definitely the best part about Magical Diary. While it's not on the same level of epic as Harry Potter, it's a lot more small scale and intimate. I think that kind of gives it an advantage. You get to know characters a lot more. I found all the characters here to be interesting, and definitely worth going through their route at least once. And going through a full playthrough of the game from start of the year to end of the year, it takes about it's always taken me about 3 hours, and sometimes I tend to do a lot of backtracking. So, not that long and not that much to go through for gameplay. So, overall I give the game 5 out of 5 stars. So, alright. So, I'm going to quickly leave the game. So, to learn a bit more, you could go to girlsgames.com website and just type in Magical Diary, and it should bring you here. You can read my full review here. There's also a trailer here. To actually get the game, you need to go to, you could either get it off of Steam or the Hanako Games website. Both are $20. I would recommend the Hanako Games site, though, because they also have a demo for the game for Windows and Mac users. So you can download the demo and make sure it's running fine on your computer. And also, you could play through the first month and get a better feel of whether you want to keep playing the game or not. So there's that. Let's see. If you like the game, give it a vote. Feel free to give it a vote here. And if there's games on the website that you if there's a game you like that isn't on the website, click here to nominate. And we'd also love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share them in the discussion section below. So that's about it. Thank you for watching, have fun, and hope to hear from you soon.